Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tom Marshall and it has been a while since I last did a video. I've had work, I've been very busy, then I was ill and all sorts kicking off. Today what we're going to do is something slightly different. I've been reviewing a lot of films lately and not really sort of done much in the way of television, mainly because I've been busy and it takes God knows how long to get through TV series these days. It's ridiculous. So today, whilst I've been ill, I've been able to catch up on certain things, things that have been out for some time, more recent things as well. Today we're going to review Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. We're also going to review The Bondsman, which is an Amazon video show, and finally we're going to review The Agency, a spy thriller on Paramount Plus. Three very good shows, and we're going to get into it right now. Let's go. We are going to start today's review with Amazon Video's The Bondsman. It stars Kevin Bacon, who also executive produces the show, along with Blumhouse. Blumhouse you may recognise from sort of independent horror genre type films, which go on to gross a gazillion dollars because they're really well marketed and really well made, and they do such a good job despite having low budgets. Films like Get Out and Sinister and The Purge, all those types of really cool sort of low budget, horror films that just triple, quadruple their budget. They seem to be geniuses at this. And here they are producing this really cool sort of horror comedy. Kevin Bacon plays a bail bondsman who is on a job and basically is going to collect these guys from a motel and bring them to jail, getting ready for court. Unfortunately, the job he's on goes wrong. He gets killed, sliced through the throat. This is no spoiler. It's part of the main story. It's in the trailers and all that sort of stuff. He gets killed, and then all of a sudden, the next day, he wakes up in between two walls. He has no idea what's happened, no idea what's going on. He discovers that he's got a mark on his arm, no idea what it's about, and then soon finds out that he's actually gone to hell and back and has been tasked by the devil himself to go and collect the souls, demons and all sorts, because they have escaped prison in hell. What this show does really, really well is that it blends, like I said, both the horror and the comedy together in one. Even Kevin Bacon's character, Hub Halloran, even his characteristics, very much what you would consider a hillbilly, sort of redneck type of character, and he is so funny at that. There's also a bit of a family drama going on in there, so not only is he trying to navigate his way as a bail bondsman for the devil, he's got a big family drama going on, with a competition with a local guy who runs the local watering hole, a guy called Lucky. They're at odds with each other quite often in the show. The horror aspect of it is not what you would consider sort of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre style sort of horror. It's more done in a fun and comedic fashion. Standout for me is Hub Halloran's mother, Kitty Halloran, played by Beth Grant. She is wrestling with the idea that heaven and hell actually exists, and it's really sort of testing her own faith. She is what you would consider a very sort of devout Christian, goes to church every Sunday, prays, all of that. And so upon hearing the news that basically her son has gone to hell and back, she completely rejects the idea because she believes that her son is meant to be in heaven and has done nothing wrong. And then over time you find out that not all is good with Hub Halloran, and his character's conflicted as well. So very, very good story. It sort of touches many different levels, many different storylines all at once. I highly recommend watching this show. The episodes aren't even that long either. They're about half hour long, and it's all just really sort of well made. And there are very many sort of facets to this, many different characters coming in. What's really funny about it as well is that he's not the only one in the employ of the devil. There's like his supervisor, her supervisor, and so on and so on. His supervisor is Jolene Purdy, somebody I've not really sort of heard of before. Her character's called Midge, and she's basically his supervisor who helps him behind the scenes with the admin side of things. And she sort of like doesn't really give him too much to go on. She's like, right, here's the demon that you've got to get. Go get him. I'll process everything. We're good to go. And there's a really sort of fun dynamic between the two of them. And each of the people that are working for the devil have a reason why they're doing what they're doing. And I won't spoil too much, but basically it's quite emotional in parts. So yeah, very much recommend The Bondsman. Hopefully there'll be a season 2. It definitely does look like it's set up for a season 2. So yeah, so really good, and very much worth your while. So the next show that I would like to review is Paramount Plus's The Agency. Now, on paper, this looks pretty good, just judging from the cast alone. You have Michael Fassbender in the lead role. You also have Jeffrey Wright. You have Richard Gere, Dominic West. Also, you've got Hugh Bonneville. So all these people and that you've seen in really sort of high quality films and TV shows across the board. They've all done like really good work. So yeah, just that alone is really good. So the show is basically about a returning spy coming to the CIA headquarters in London after a 6-year mission in Africa. And whilst he was in Africa, his job was basically to make friends, cultivate relationships, and build rapport with all the people and all the sort of like important officials around that sort of area, which he was very successful at. And he falls in love whilst he's out there and continues on his relationship whilst he's out in London. Also, what's going on is in Russia and in Ukraine, there's also behind the scenes a militia sort of growing its numbers, a militia called Valhalla, run by this crazy sort of Russian dude who is wanting to basically overthrow the government. The CIA have got this covert mission going on, gathering intelligence around the area, so much so that people in the office, only a handful of people know. It's like maybe 2 or 3 people. It's called Felix, and Felix, in this show, you are a high security risk because it's only for eyes only, top personnel know these people. Yet somehow Michael Fassbender knows about this, and also another person also knows about this as well. So it starts to sort of spread throughout the department in the London office. And the reason for this is basically because as soon as Michael Fassbender's character comes back, a agent in Russia gets captured, and it is their job to basically find him and bring him home. There's a complex web of manipulation, lies, people outsmarting each other, and all sorts going on. There's a lot of like spycraft that's going on. Not only does Michael Fassbender have to contend with his work life, he also has his daughter visiting him also, so he's got all that going on. Whilst trying to continue on his relationship with the woman he was falling in love with in Africa. And little did he know that in Africa, his girlfriend in Africa was basically in London conducting talks with multiple different nations to take control of a certain area for like minerals and mining and all that sort of stuff. So she is there basically under a false pretense. Basically, her cover is that she's basically a student, and she's doing studies and things like that. So you've got all that going on as well. And so there's a lot of back and forth, very much like a cat and mouse type show. It is really, really sort of well done. I thoroughly enjoyed this. A bit of a slow burn to start with. It does ramp up over time as they start gathering the intelligence and start making moves. But that just makes it the more sort of realistic, I find. And there's a lot of like actual spycraft that goes on as well. There's big sort of like action set pieces, especially on the guys on the ground in Russia and Ukraine that are doing this sort of like covert mission, if you will. It's literally just 3 people in this mission, and they just take dudes out all day long. There's like a Delta Force guy and a couple of Ukraine Special Forces guys that are on the ground doing all the surveillance stuff for this Operation Felix. So yeah, very smart. It took me a while to sort of put the pieces together and work it out in my head. A lot of the storylines come to a head in the last couple of episodes, and there's a big sort of like reveal at the end as well, and you're just like, oh, that's an interesting twist. Highly recommend it. It's definitely worth your while. You are put to work in this show, so bear that in mind as well. So yeah, thoroughly enjoy it. Okay, so the next show I would like to review is Disney Plus's Daredevil Born Again. Now, I know this has been out for a while now, but like I said earlier, I've only just sort of caught up with everything, and I really enjoyed it. I did actually enjoy it quite a lot. I do know that they actually had quite a lot of controversy because they had to reshoot quite a lot of it, and I dare to think what the original version of this was. Will we ever see the light of day? I don't know, but I wouldn't want to see it because the version that we got I felt was very, very good. The show basically carries on a couple of years after the events of the Netflix series, and you've got Matt Murdock, you've got Karen, and you also got Foggy Nelson. They're all sort of in this bar to start with in the first episode, celebrating a victory of some sort. Everyone's having a good time. And then at the end of the night, everyone sort of goes home. And then all of a sudden, Foggy, bang, gone, dead. He has been shot and killed. A tragedy among the group. And so much so that Matt Murdock, Daredevil himself, hangs up the cowl and focuses more on his lawyering. The next episode, you basically see him a year later, fully immersed in his world of the law and doing cases and trials and all sorts, and trying to keep his firm afloat. He hasn't seen Karen for almost a year as well. They're all trying to sort of deal with the loss of Foggy Nelson, as he was a major part of their lives, basically. The show is kind of like Matt Murdock trying to come to terms with the loss and what to do with his life next, now that he's hung up the cowl. And it's not until Kingpin, Fisk, becomes mayor, and that changes everything. Matt Murdock and Fisk meet up, and basically Fisk warns him that if he ever puts on the outfit, if he ever becomes Daredevil again, he will be arrested or possibly even killed. And so, you know, Matt Murdock says basically he's never putting it on, but like, if you do push me, or if you do feel like you escalate things to the point where I have to step in and intervene, he's going to intervene. He's going to do it. So he's sort of grappling with the idea now that Fisk is mayor. Fisk has left his underground world of crime and wanting to make changes legitimately as mayor, and has discovered this part of New York City and decides to try and regenerate this area. And then later on, you do find out later on why he's doing it, but I won't spoil that for you. But basically, that's his main goal, is this one little area in New York City that he wants to regenerate. Matt Murdock, whilst all this political backdrop is going on in the background, Matt Murdock is trying to sort of discover who he is once again. You know, after a lengthy court case that he wins, but unfortunately his client gets shot and killed. He's now sort of like, well, now what? You know, crime is rising. What am I going to do? What's going to happen? And so he goes to the Punisher for some advice and help, and uses him as a soundboard. And then from there, chaos ensues. Basically, it's a really, really good show. I definitely recommend it. Again, a bit of a slow burn. The standout episode for me of the series, I think it's either episode 3 or 4, but there's a bank heist, and this is the turning point, I believe, for Matt Murdock, for him to really sort of make a change and become Daredevil once again, where he's in this bank heist and people are constantly sort of like underestimating him because he's blind and he's not capable enough. What's really good about this episode also is that it calls back to Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan's father is the assistant bank manager, which is kind of cool. And the reason why Murdoch is in the bank in the first place is because he's looking for loans to keep his business and his firm afloat. And so that's why he's there in the first place. And so this bank gets heisted by these people, and he can't just sit there and do nothing, and so he acts. He does what he does best, without anybody finding out, apart from Kamala Khan's dad. He at one point says, "What kind of lawyer are you?" And Matt was like, "A good one." And it's so cool. It's really cool. Although they did miss the trick, because in an earlier meeting, Kamala Khan's dad was like, "Oh, you should come over for dinner," blah blah blah. And at the end of the episode, they could have had like a post-credit tag and been like having that dinner together, which would have been quite cool. But that's just me. I mean, all the stuff with the Punisher is really, really good. He actually helps Daredevil as well in the big fight action sequences that you see. He goes full Punisher, which is really, really cool. He's not there just as like a sounding board, like Bucky Barnes was in Captain America 4, which is a missed opportunity there in my opinion. But yeah, all the Punisher stuff, really, really cool. Daredevil, Born Again, definitely worth your watch. Definitely worth a watch. I would certainly rate it as one of the better Disney Plus shows, and one of the better Marvel stuff that has come out recently, along with like the Thunderbolts that came out a couple of weeks ago. So definitely recommend it. So there you go, like 3 really good shows that I would highly recommend watching, and something a little bit different in there as well, with spy thriller, and there we go, simple as that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more TV stuff, let me know in the comments in the chat, certain TV shows that you'd like me to review, or you yourself would like to recommend me. That would be cool. We all have busy lives, we can't watch everything, so I'll do the best I can. But there we go. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you in the next video. Peace.